Hello, so today we're going to be looking at linear equations again. We're going to first look at standard form here, where we've got ax plus by equals c. And just a reminder that a is a positive whole number, and b and c can be positive or negative whole numbers. So just make sure it's in that form of ax plus by equals c. So um, let's go ahead and let's review graphing one of these out. We're going to graph each linear function here. Remember, when it's in standard form here, you can either put it in y equals mx plus b form and graph it out, or we can go ahead and use the cover up method and go ahead and find the x and the y intercepts to do that. So I'll show you in this case how to do both of these. So if I wanted to put it in y equals mx plus b form, I could go ahead and subtract 2x from both sides of my equation here, and end up getting y equals negative 2x plus 3. So 3 right there is my y-intercept. So I can go ahead and I can graph out the y-intercept here. And then my slope here, the slope here ends up being negative 2, and I'm going to put that over 1. So if you remember, that's my rise or my run. So from that y-intercept, I'm going to come down 2 and over 1. Come down 2 and over 1. And I'm going to connect those points. And there it is graphed out. So if you want, you can go ahead and put it in y equals mx plus b form. Now another choice could be that we go ahead and use the cover-up method. So if we do that, we could cover up the y and find the x-intercept. So 2x equals 3, divide by 2, and x ends up being 1.5. That's our x-intercept. So since that's our x-intercept, we could go over here, and our x-intercept, where it hits the x-axis there, is at 1.5. And then our other one there, to find the y-intercept, I'm going to rewrite the original equation there. This time I'm going to cover up the x, and I get y equals 3. So that is my y-intercept. So I'm going to plot y equals 3. And so I can connect those points, and notice it's right there on that same graph that I did right above there, the blue graph there. So it's exactly the same line. It doesn't matter which way you do that. So this next example, write a linear equation in standard form, ax plus by equals c, given the following information. So this time, the slope is 2/3, and the y-intercept here is 2. So we just have to write it in standard form. So given that information, though, we're going to use y equals mx plus b form, because if you remember, m here is our slope, and b here is our y-intercept. So we can just go ahead and transfer our information in there. We get y equals 2/3 x plus 2. And then because I've got a fraction, and if I've got a fraction there and I've got something down there in the denominator there, I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get rid of that 3 down there. So to do that, what I do is I multiply everything in there by 3. So if I multiply 3 times y here, I get 3y. If I multiply 3 times 2/3 here, x, notice I'll get 6/3, which ends up reducing down to just 2x. And then I got to take 3 times 2 here, which will end up giving me 6. So now I have to put it in ax plus by form. So I'm going to go ahead and move my 2x over on the other side. So I get negative 2x plus 3y equals 6. But remember, to be in standard form there, that our value in front of our x there has to be positive. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply everything in here by -1, or just think about changing all your signs in there. So this was a negative, it's going to become a positive. This was a positive, it's going to become a negative. This one here is a positive, it's going to become a negative. So otherwise, -1 times this gives me a positive 2. -1 times this gives me a -3, and a -1 times 6 here gives me a -6. So there it is. 2x minus 3y equals -6 in standard form. Let's try another one of those. Again, we're given the information y equals mx plus b. Our slope there is -1/2. Putting that in for m. Our y-intercept is 4, putting that in there. Now we got to write it in standard form. So again, this cannot be a fraction. So I'm going to multiply every single term in here by what's down here in denominator, which is a 2. So I'm going to multiply it through, so I get 2y equals 2 times negative 1/2 x plus 2 times 4. So I get 2y equals, this gives me negative 2 over 2x, so that gives me a negative 1x plus 8. So now I'm going to go ahead and I got to put an x plus, or ax plus by equals c, so I got to bring my x's on over. So I end up getting x plus 2y equals 8. And there it is in standard form. Example 3 here, write the linear equation in standard form, ax plus by equals c. So very similar to what we've just done, except some of these are just a little bit different form here. So again, my first step here is going to be able to get rid of that 4 down there in my denominator. So I'm going to multiply everything through by 4, so I get 4y equals 4 times 3/4 x minus 2 times 4. So 4y equals 12/4 x, which gives me 3x minus 8. So still have to be in that standard form, so I'm going to bring my 3x on over. So I end up getting a negative 3x plus 4y equals negative 8. And then notice that I've got a negative here in the front, so I'm going to have to multiply everything through by negative 1. So I have 3x minus 4y equals 8. So there we've got letter A. Let's look there also at letter B there. Only thing wrong with that is you've got a negative there in the front. So I'm just going to multiply everything through by negative 1. So negative 4x times a negative 1 here gives me 4x. Y times a negative 1 gives me a negative 1 y. And negative 6 times negative 1 there gives me 6. So basically it just changes sign. This was a negative, becomes a positive. This was positive, becomes a negative. This was a negative, it becomes a positive. So I'm finished. That's an ax plus by equals c form. And then this one here is called point slope form. To go ahead and do this one, you're going to have to distribute the negative 2 through the parentheses there. So you get y minus 3 equals negative 2x minus 4. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring my x over onto the left-hand side here. So I end up getting 2x plus y minus 3 equals negative 4. And then I've got to bring that minus 3 over because the constants have to be over on the right-hand side. And I get 2x plus y equals negative 1. So there is my final answer. And notice that we've got all three of those are in nice standard form. So that concludes what we're going to do there for now.